Hey guys, this is EJ Holland with the Wolverine.com. I'm right outside of Saguaro Stadium where Hamilton just beat Saguaro live on ESPN2 13-7. A really low scoring but highly competitive game featuring Michigan defensive line commit Quintin Somerville and 2022 Michigan quarterback target Nico Marshall. We'll talk a little bit about both. Before I do want to remind you to sign up to the Wolverine.com. Right now we're offering 12 months for the price of one. Flash sale for football, so go over to the Wolverine.com. Sign up right now and you can get access to all your exclusive football recruiting information, but team information as well. Michigan gets on the field tomorrow, so it should be a lot of fun. Our Chris Ballas will be out in Minnesota to cover the game, so if you want live coverage from the game, you want the best recruiting information around, make sure to subscribe to the Wolverine.com. So that's pretty much it for that. Let's go ahead and dive into the game. Quintin Somerville, really interesting prospect. I feel like he's one of the hardest recruits to grade in this class. Even today, this was my second time seeing him live. I actually saw him last year before he committed to Michigan, before I was even on the Michigan beat, so way back last spring. And at that point, he was still a little bit of a tweener project guy that I didn't know what he was going to develop into. He played along the offensive line a lot at practice and played a little bit of D-end, D-tackle. And so I didn't really know what he was going to be. Remember, Quintin Somerville was rated extremely high early on. This is a kid that some sites had as a top 50, at one point I think even top 25 national player, but he didn't really grow as expected. And if Quintin Somerville was 6'4", he'd be that top 50 guy, but he's 6'1". Even standing next to him, I'm 6'1", and we're the same height. I don't think he could really tell a difference. So he is 6'1". So the height is kind of limiting. He does actually have better length than the 6'1" frame would lead you to believe. But I still don't really know what he's going to be. And some people have, pointed to some anomalies as far as shorter rush ends that worked out in the NFL and at the next level. And those are obviously anomalies. They're not necessarily the expectation. 6'1" guys don't normally excel in those pass rushing roles, especially these days where you need a lot of speed and a lot of length. What I like about Quintin Somerville is his technique, as well as his hands. He does use his hands really well. He knows how to stick to his assignments. A lot of videos, you see him chasing backside or sticking with the running back instead of hitting the quarterback. Those are assignments within that defensive scheme. So he wasn't really doing anything wrong in those situations. They had a pitch man. They had a guy assigned to the pitch man. They had a guy assigned to the quarterback. So depending on what they were running is what he was doing. And so it's not like he was missing guys. Like I saw some people on Twitter kind of critiquing him a little bit. It's not like he wasn't sticking to his assignment. He was. So he actually does play with really good technique. You just have to know what those guys are doing defensively. He did play some 5, some 7. He even lined up as a wide 9 and came off rushing off the edge. And I think that's where he's going to have to be honest. I don't think he has the frame to really fill out and be a nose tackle. I don't see him sliding inside and being a defensive tackle, though that's normally what guys his height play. I don't see him really being a defensive tackle just based off of his skill set and his frame. I see him being a rush end type of guy, but he's going to have to be one of those anomalies. And even Michigan has told him, we don't really know exactly what we're going to do with you. We're not telling you you're going to be a 5 guy. They have talked to him a little bit about playing the Quiddy payroll, but they're kind of leaving it open and seeing how he develops once he gets on campus. And I think that's really the right move. With Quintin, I just have more questions than I do answers. And right now he's very far from a finished product, not because he lacks technique or he lacks discipline or anything like that. I would like to see him improve his get off and his quickness a little bit more, especially if he is going to be an edge rusher. But just his athletic profile doesn't necessarily fit the prototypical rush guy or even the 5 tech guy. So we'll kind of just have to see what he turns into at the next level. He does, you know, still have those traits that made him so highly ranked. It's just the size that's the biggest concern. Moving over to the flip side of the ball, Nico Martial was a guy that was really, really tough to judge. This was my second time seeing him live as well. I saw him out in Colorado. Actually, when I went out to see Reese Atterbury, I swung by his practice at Regis Jesuit. And Nico's a guy I really like. This game wasn't the best game, especially if you watched it on ESPN. I mean, Saguaro's just loaded with D1 guys all over the place, and it's not just Quintin Somerville. It's Ohio State commit Denzel Burke. It's top 2022 athlete Tristan Mundy. So they have guys, and it was just really a rough time. And then on top of that, they don't have Hamilton doesn't have those big athletes or the speed. He didn't have like a ton of skill players to really get the ball to. At one point, I was like, why don't they put these corners in at wide receiver, because the corners were the most athletic guys on the team. But Nico didn't have a ton of help, you know. So he's a guy that away from this, I've seen enough of his film. I've seen enough of him in person to know that I really like Nico. I think he's limited from an arm strength point of view. I feel like he can still really improve that. He doesn't necessarily, you know, have the arm to chuck it deep. He doesn't make those throws on a rope that JJ McCarthy makes. But he's really, really accurate. He's really smart. He's a tough runner. He's a guy that can pick a defense apart and drive a team down the field. So the thing that stands out to me the most, and something that's extremely difficult to teach a quarterback, is accuracy. And you are going to have no issue with Nico Martial at the next level with accuracy. He's an extremely accurate and competent quarterback. He's just not going to make those wow, you know, 20, 25, and even deeper throws down the field. He's going to pick you apart with those short to intermediate routes, and he's really good at it. He's really good at reading a defense, knowing where the guys are going to be, knowing how to lead his guys, where to place balls. Ball placement was big for him on those short to intermediate routes, and that goes along with accuracy. So I really like Nico Martial. He's a lefty, so sometimes schools don't really love recruiting lefties because you have to kind of adjust to them. It's a little bit different, you know, when your strong side's on your right side. So, but I don't think Michigan has a problem with that. Michigan is prioritizing him. Actually, Ben McDaniels talked to him before this game, so he's going to be a priority target in 2022. And I think he would be a perfect guy to go behind JJ McCarthy for next cycle. He knows JJ. He has no problem going behind JJ. So I think Nico kind of fits the bill of what Michigan should look for in a 2022 quarterback. All right, guys, that's about it for all your coverage from the game, as well as the team on Saturday. Make sure to head over to the Wolverine.com. They're shutting down the lights and shutting down the gate, so I have to get out of here. Appreciate it, guys. Again, subscribe to the Wolverine.com.